Early on playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I'm made aware of how different a game this is. I came across a sleeping Bilemore, and thanks to Cal's new Force Confusion ability, I'm able to influence the beast for a short time, and turn it on nearby enemies. Rising from its slumber, the creature spews out an unpleasant brown gunk all over the unfortunate fellows nearby. The sludge-spouting animal makes quick work of the stormtroopers for me, but it's not long before the effects will wear off, and I'm its next target, so I better leave. Every movement from Cal feels more fluid. He has clearly grown from the Padawan he once was, and his connection to the Force is stronger than ever. While the combat itself is very familiar, new Force abilities, additional stances, a wealth of cosmetic customization options, and the introduction of new means of traversal mean this is a very different game. It feels bigger in every sense, and just as I use the Bilemore to take out my foes instead of attacking them head on, the new powers have been brought in to encourage different approaches in combat. We wanted to introduce new powers that could make you approach encounters in different ways. So that's kind of our high level goal as designers. You know, push and pull. You could do different things to certain enemies that make you play a certain way, or an encounter may end faster, stuff like that. So more agency for the player to approach encounters in different ways. I think it was kind of always the goal, and we see what power works and what doesn't, and we work with Lucasfilm and make sure it feels authentic where it can, says design director Jason DeHarris. My time with Star Wars Jedi Survivor begins an hour into the adventure on the planet of Kobo, after the Mantis crashes. From the off, this planet feels much bigger than anything I've explored before in Fallen Order, promising so much to discover and explore. Survivor still retains the Metroidvania style setup of old, with blocked paths that you must navigate or puzzle your way through, but it's vastly more open. Kobo is also teeming with life, and not just of the hostile variety. So many local residents dotted around the locations will speak of notable areas or occurrences that will trigger side missions. I set out to find ship parts, but it's the mention of one familiar name that sends my excitement soaring: Grease. The lovable four-armed pilot now owns a cantina on Kobo, and nothing motivates me more than the prospect of a reunion. So as keen as I am to see Grease again, there are happy distractions along the way, and you're always rewarded for doing so, be that by the way of new unlockable cosmetics, Force echoes or Force tears. Just like Fallen Order, it's always hard to tear yourself away from the exploration, but it's even harder in this game since the planet has so much more to offer. Not only that, but the expanded means of traversal brings freshness to exploration. Now that Cal has restored his abilities, he's more agile and can make use of new ways to reach areas. The Ascension Cable grappling hook, for instance, is a welcome addition that zips across walls and latches onto vines to be climbed. Cal can also now wall jump between tight spaces to access higher platforms, and I occasionally found myself climbing across ceilings. The ability to tame creatures is also a great addition, with the Neko for travelling across distances on land, and the Flying Belter that lets me glide through the air. To aid the sense of fluidity, you can now fast travel from meditation points. Finally! As DeHarris explains, making Cal feel better in terms of combat and traversal was something the team were eager to bring to the experience of Survivor, along with additional lightsaber stances, of which there are 5 in total. The twin stance was something we always wanted to do in the first game, but we had to cut it for time. So obviously that was one of the first things we worked on to flesh it out. And then from there, we kind of had our 3 stances. And then we kind of say, okay, where do we want to go with the other 2? And that's kind of what was the driving force behind that. So for game design and gameplay, make Cal feel better in traversal and combat. While the improvements and new features in combat and traversal definitely excite me, the characters and the bonds they share continue to be the biggest draw for me. Once I finally find my way to Grease's cantina in the town of Rambler's Reach, the saloon is full of its regulars who can all be interacted with, which just makes everything come to life with so much character. Of course, it's not complete until Grease finally enters the picture, and just as it's a reunion for Cal, it really feels like I'm seeing an old friend again. The relationship between the pair and the conversations they share continue to be highlights, just as they were in Fallen Order. What's most interesting though is that my presence in Rambler's Reach actually has an effect on the town, with new shops and activities opening up as a result. As I discover, Survivor will see you encounter different outposts that you can influence by recruiting residents around the locations to come and assist your journey. I don't get to see too much of this new feature, but I love the idea of having a direct effect on the places I visit as Cal, and with the chance to open up new elements in the outpost, there's added incentive to do more. When my session came to an end, I didn't want to stop playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I think says it all. There is so much to do and see, so many new things to discover, and yet, with so many features returning, I felt right at home in this follow-up to Fallen Order. The wealth of new features, quality of life improvements, new narrative stakes make everything feel bigger and better, as an experience that builds on just about everything that came before. It's clear Respawn is striving to make this a Star Wars adventure anybody can enjoy. So what are you most looking forward to now that you've seen a bit more of Star Wars Jedi Survivor? Let us know in the comments below.
Whoa! Take a look at that view. Is that a giant crater? Wow. I got it so easy. Guard the cliff, crush the locals, look at the scenery. Nobody's getting past me, not without a blaster hole in him. I wonder if I'll get promoted for doing such a good job. Then I'll get the other droids to guard the cliff. Oh, but then I won't see the scenery. Now that's a dilemma.
Dilemma solved.